Welcome back, everyone, to another edition of Saltwater Gaming. I am Ellison Smith, and today we will be covering a little bit of an issue that's been going on in the gaming community recently, as well as a small review of the newest Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War series coming out from Warner Brothers Entertainment. So, starting off, I've played Shadow of War for, I think about 2 weeks. I rented it from a Redbox, and I enjoyed it so much that I actually bought it, so that's how you know that I enjoyed it personally. So, for those that have not played it, it's kind of like a prequel / in-between kind of series, focusing on the events of Lord of the Rings, after The Hobbit, but before the Lord of the Rings trilogy actually began. It takes place with Talion, a ranger who was stationed at the Black Gate, and Sauron came and screwed everything up, so now he's going after Sauron, and playing kind of like a House of Cards situation, without all the Kevin Spacey stuff, with orcs. He's teamed up with an elf ghost, and they share a body, and it's interesting, and they go and take over the minds of orcs, and they lead them up the hierarchy, and they take over Mordor from, the inside. So, if you enjoy kind of political games that are also hack and slash and massive adventure games, with a little bit of RPG elements, you'll very much enjoy this. It kind of plays like Assassin's Creed. There's a lot of stealth element to it. So if you enjoy Assassin's Creed, then you'll probably enjoy this. If you enjoy, Lord of the Rings, you'll definitely enjoy this. You'll understand all the lore and everything that's going on. So yeah, I would highly recommend this game if you like hack and slashers, or, stealth-based stuff, or, any kind of nerd world that you can dive right into. It's very much fun. So that being said, Shadow of War does something that I haven't seen in a while, which is it has in-game currency that you can earn and spend on things that actually help you out. So you don't have to, there's a microtransaction option, but you don't have to pay to win, essentially. If you are good enough and, pick the right orcs or level them up correctly, then you can easily just kind of sweep all your enemies aside. You can find this in-game currency, and buy orcs. You could buy packs and equipment that can help you, and sometimes it's not the best, sometimes it's amazing. It's a gamble, but it's still something that you can do on your own. And that is something that I have not seen a lot of games offer now that microtransactions have become, I don't want to say the norm, but more focused on in the gaming world. And Shadow of War, their system is you can obviously buy stuff, or you can just help people online and you'll earn your own small amounts, and that's easily done. And it helps, and it makes you feel good, because you're just like, I can buy these orcs, I don't have to spend any of my hard-earned money, I just have to go after these specific enemies that give me cash, and, go from there. And that's just kind of what I want to point out with the whole gaming world right now. Recently there's been a huge, and I mean huge, backlash towards Electronic Arts, who put out the new Battlefield recently. From the very launch, Battlefield 2 was, we had excitement, and we're just like, okay, so this looks good. There's an actual campaign. It's not just multiplayer. And then EA took the ball, and they dropped the ball, and they kicked the ball, and then they just went ahead and stabbed the ball, and nobody gets a ball anymore. Everybody needs to go home. Essentially, it boils down to you had to put in something like 800 to 1,000 hours, or some absurd number, to just unlock Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. And that's not including the other characters that were announced that you could play as. That's just two of the main ones. So, they announced that. They announced a pay-to-play option with microtransactions. Lovely, lovely microtransactions. And the internet and, gamers around the world finally had a cause to unite us. Like, it's not politics, it's not solving world peace. We just don't want to spend our hard-earned money to frickin' unlock Darth Vader, of all people. So, this massive campaign has been going on over the past couple days. EA backtracked firsthand, and then they're just like, okay, we've lowered the requirements, and no, that wasn't enough. We still gave them hell, which is, hooray for us. Hooray for gamers, man. We don't get upset. We get upset about a lot of things, but it takes a lot for us to actually do something about it, rather than go to the message boards and type up a very strongly worded comment in caps locks. So this whole rally around Battlefront 2 just is amazing, because now EA has officially taken off microtransactions. They've stopped them. So now you play it like it's a regular game, which it should have been from day one. And that to me is amazing. I've seen a lot of gamers come out and talk about this kind of stuff. Like, we're all sick of microtransactions, but at the same time, we've also bought you've probably bought loot boxes on, like, Overwatch. I know I have. I've spent hard-earned money on Overwatch. But that stuff is purely cosmetic, and sometimes that's a little bit easier to do. Like, you get a nice skin, you get some voice lines that make your character a little bit more filled out. But just the absurdity of paying X amount of money and putting in X amount of time, a ridiculous amount of time, just to play as a character that should be free or just unlocked through, like, campaign missions. That's ridiculous. That's been ridiculous. But this is the way that this is the way that gaming works now. A lot of stuff is simply pay to play. And that is very saddening to me. So this whole campaign with Battlefront 2 makes me have a little bit more confidence for the gaming industry, makes me have a little bit more confidence in people. We can do anything if it angers us enough, and if it threatens our pockets. So we'll see what happens next. I'm not through with talking about microtransactions. But Mike from our lovely, lovely little company of Eventide Entertainment has some stuff to say about what's coming up in the works. So, Mike, here's your time to shine. Let's see what you got. Coming from Eventide Entertainment, and you're listening to Saltwater Gaming. We'll be back with you briefly.
There's a reason they call them lazy Sundays. There's nothing better than sitting around and enjoying the comforts of a good book. But what book should that be? Well, every Sunday, Eventide brings you The Bookseller, hosted by Jessica Gillen. Each week, Jessica breaks down a different book and tells you everything you need to know before cracking it open and getting lost in a whole new world. Tune in every Sunday for The Bookseller with Jessica Gillen, brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
Nerd Versus. Mondays at 9 a.m. on the Eventide Entertainment podcast feed.
Are you into making music, videos, or podcasts? Are you a local comedic talent in need of some much-needed publicity? Are you a behind-the-scenes professional interested in audio-video production, graphic design, and public relations? Eventide Entertainment is actively seeking talents, clients, and professionals to help our business grow into something truly special. And we want you to be one of those. For more information, go to facebook.com/Eventide Entertainment or send us an email at eventideent@gmail.com.
Hey, thanks, Mike. Welcome back to Saltwater Gaming. I'm Ellison Smith. I don't remember exactly when microtransactions became a norm. I remember when, we had the huge app surge that, you could pay for extra lives. Like, I remember when Angry Birds brought in microtransactions. I remember when the tap games on, like, your tablet and phone, like Heyday and the newest South Park one, so South Park Phone Destroyer, all of those, Family Guy: The Quest for Stuff. I remember when they came out and they had, pay X amount of money for in-game currency. Like, I remember when in-game currency became a thing. But to me, that was always separated between consoles and PC and, the mobile games. So, you had to pay for DLC on console, PC, and everything else, but that was DLC. That was a completely separate issue. And now to just kind of see all of these games come out, and they offer the loot box systems, or they offer additional stuff. It's just disgusting, honestly, because you're paying out, you're shelling out $60. Honestly, that's the average price of a new AAA game. $40 if it's an indie title. $20 if you can get it on Steam at the right date. And you're shelling out this amount of money for 80% of a game. And that's not right to me. That's never been right to me. And it's just, I'm so angry that this is now commonplace. So to see this backlash at EA, who is probably the worst offender, like, I have my issues with Ubisoft, but Ubisoft at least has, titles that everyone enjoys and can relatively work under. Ubisoft is like the business. Ubisoft is the businessman that has some mob ties, but you're just like, you know what, you're keeping your nose clean for the most part, so you're okay. EA is just the guy that takes everything, puts his name on it, and just runs it in the ground and doesn't even care. That's EA. EA is that kind of business, man. EA is god-awful. They're the worst offenders at this. Blizzard, their loot box system is fine. You can collect coins and whatnot from leveling up. You get a free loot box every time you level up. That's fine. That's level progression kind of stuff. Theirs is accessible. This whole model that EA has been dropping on people is horrendous, to say the least. And then they'll defend it like, oh, some of it's cosmetic. Yeah, that's some of it. Everything else is just like upgrades or better weapons. So you've got a guy who just had, $60 to get the game, and because he just wants to play with his friends online, and then you got a 12-year-old who screams for his mom to buy him, like, the highest level of loot crate that they can get, and he's coming in and just wiping everybody that he can get his hands on because he's got this first access at better equipment, instead of doing what we did back in my day and, grinding for it. Like, I remember playing Kingdom Hearts. I remember playing Kingdom Hearts, and you have to go and grind to get all your different forms. You have to get all the different keyblades. Some of it's through level progression, but you have to actually put time in to get somewhere in that game, instead of just, load the game up, get everything updated, and then boom, here's my credit card information, and you're, 20 levels ahead already. just right from the gate. That, to me, I know I sound like an old fart with saying this, but that shouldn't be your current model. That shouldn't be your model for how you want to produce entertainment or provide experience for your consumers. And I know for the most part that people just aren't gonna care. They're just gonna like, well, it's EA, or well, it's Battlefront 2, and they're just gonna suck it up and just accept it, and they're just gonna play the game, and they're just, I just want to play, I don't care. But in the back of their mind, and on their bills, when their bank statement comes back, they're just like, this kind of could have been prevented. This kind of sucks. Now I can't buy a thing of Ben & Jerry's, and I've had a tough week, and that Ben & Jerry's could have helped. So, let's just take a minute, as fans of, be it Battlefront or whatever drafted into the loot box territory, just take a minute to think about what would happen, not if we boycotted, not if we just, stop buying everything, because there's gonna, for the most part, you'll go online and be like, I'm going to boycott EA, and then, on release night, there you are in line getting Battlefront 2. Let's just have a discussion with each other and with some people in the higher ups that'll actually listen, because this time they listened, but only because we got angry. Don't stop getting angry. Like, get angry at the right reasons. Don't get angry at, tiny little things, tiny little details. Don't get angry at a character being included with cat ears, or having a cat ears accessory, or anything like that. Be angry at getting a shell of a game and having to buy for the filler. Be angry that you are not getting a product that you deserve and that you paid good, hard-earned money for. Get angry at that. Talk to one another. Talk to the higher-ups. Let's make this stop. Let's make it pay-to-play. Let's make pay-to-play optional. And let's just have a game where we can actually enjoy things and enjoy playing with each other. And bring back couch co-op, shout out to couch co-op. I missed that first and foremost, but just let's bring back full 100% games. Nothing we have to pay for unless it's DLC. If we want additional options or additional, weapons or stuff, that's fine. You can pay for that if you want it. But let us earn some stuff on our own. Maybe then we'll be able to kind of get back to the center of gaming and not be so spread out and only solidify when there's something truly outrageous. Basically, let's just yell at EA some more, because they've done this for a long time, and it's time to stop. This has been my little rant on microtransactions and a quick review of Shadow of War. If you are a fan of Lord of the Rings or hack and slashers or fantasy games, pick up Shadow of War. And, earn some good old-fashioned in-game currency, rather than slip your wallet. I'm Ellison Smith. You've been listening to Saltwater Gaming. We'll see you next week with a mystery episode. Hope you'll have a wonderful weekend.